was a version of me that used to laugh without thinking twice. A version that trusted people the second they smiled at him. A version that believed if you worked hard, stayed kind, and did everything right, life would reward you for it. That version of me is gone, and I don't know exactly when he left. There was no single moment, no dramatic scene, no final goodbye. He just faded, quietly, the way a song fades out at the end, so slowly you don't notice it's gone until there's silence. If you're watching this right now and something inside you just went still, if a part of you just whispered same, then you already know what I'm talking about. That strange, heavy realization that you are not who you used to be. Not physically, but somewhere deep inside, something shifted, something broke, something grew, and you can't go back. Maybe it was a betrayal that cut so deep you stopped trusting even the people who never hurt you. Maybe it was a loss that emptied a room in your heart that never got refilled. Maybe it was years of being strong for everyone else, until you woke up and realized nobody ever asked if you were okay. Whatever it was for you, I want you to know something before we go further. You are not broken. What happened to you changed you, yes, but change is not the same as damage. A caterpillar doesn't die when it becomes a butterfly. It disappears into something unrecognizable and then becomes something it could never have been without that painful, invisible transformation. This isn't going to be one of those videos that tells you to just be positive or let it go. Like it's simple. If it were simple, you wouldn't still be thinking about it at 2 a.m. You wouldn't still flinch at certain names, certain songs, certain smells. Instead, I want to take you through what it actually means to not be the same anymore. Why it happens, why it hurts, and what it means for who you're becoming next. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see this loss of your old self in a completely different light. So stay with me. Let's begin. Think back to who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 1 year ago. Remember how you used to dream. Remember the things that made you excited. The plans you used to make without fear, the way you used to say yes to life, without calculating every possible way it could hurt you. Now look at yourself today. Are you more careful? More guarded? Do you check people's intentions twice before you let them close? Do you plan for disappointment before it even happens, just so it doesn't catch you off guard again? That's not a coincidence. That's evidence. Evidence that something real happened to you. Something big enough to rewrite the way your mind protects itself. Here's what almost nobody tells you. Pain doesn't just hurt you in the moment. It reprograms you. It teaches your nervous system new rules. Rules like don't trust too fast, or always have a backup plan for your own heart. Your brain isn't punishing you when it does this. It's protecting you. It watched you get hurt once, and it swore it would never let that happen again, no matter the cost. The cost, of course, is the old you. The soft, trusting, wide-eyed version who believed the best about everyone. That version had to step aside so a new version could survive. And here's the part that's going to hit hard. You didn't lose yourself by accident. You lost that version of you because you survived something. Heartbreak survives by becoming distance. Betrayal survives by becoming caution. Grief survives by becoming depth. Every version of, you're not the same anymore, is actually a version of, you made it through. Let that sink in. We spend so much time mourning who we used to be, that we forget to acknowledge what it actually took to become who we are now. Nobody becomes quieter, more guarded, more selective with their trust for no reason. There is always a story behind that silence, always a battle behind that strength. So when you look in the mirror, and don't recognize the person staring back, understand this isn't a tragedy. It's a record of everything you survived and never got a medal for. But I know what you're thinking. Knowing that doesn't make the ache go away. Knowing you're stronger now doesn't fill the space where trust used to live. And that's the part we need to talk about next. Because there is a real cost to becoming this new version of you. And pretending there isn't would be a lie. Let's be honest about something most people won't admit on camera. Becoming stronger often means becoming lonelier. Becoming wiser often means becoming more distant. Becoming more careful often means missing out on beautiful things simply because they resemble something that once hurt you. You stopped opening up to people, not because you don't have anything to say, but because the last time you did, it was used against you. You stopped getting excited about opportunities, not because you don't want good things, but because you got tired of watching them fall apart in your hands. You stopped saying, "I love you" as easily, not because you don't feel love, but because the last time you said it, it wasn't said back with the same weight. This is the quiet grief nobody talks about. Not grieving a person or a place, grieving a personality, grieving the version of yourself that used to feel things fully, without flinching, without calculating the risk first. If you're feeling that grief right now, know it is valid. You are allowed to miss your old self, even while respecting who you've become. Those two things are not contradictions. You can love the survivor you are today, and still light a candle for the dreamer you used to be. But here's something I've learned, something that took me years, and more pain than I'd like to admit. The goal was never to go back to who you were. The goal is to take everything that old version of you knew about joy, hope, and trust, and combine it with everything this new version knows about protection, wisdom, and boundaries. That's not losing yourself. That's evolving. Think about water for a second. It doesn't disappear when it turns to ice. It doesn't die when it becomes steam. It just changes shape depending on what it needs to survive the environment it's in. You are the same way. The old you isn't dead. It's just frozen right now, waiting for a warmer season, waiting for the right person, the right sense of safety, to melt back into softness again. Maybe you're not the same, because you're not supposed to be the same forever. Maybe this guarded, quiet, careful version of you is just a chapter, not the whole book, and chapters end. Now here's the part that changes everything. You keep comparing your current self to your old self like it's a competition, like one version has to win and the other has to lose. But what if there was no losing at all? What if every version of you, the naive one, the broken one, the guarded one, the healing one, was simply doing the best it could with what it knew at the time? The you from 5 years ago didn't know what you know now. Of course they trusted easily. They hadn't been betrayed yet. Of course they dreamed recklessly. They hadn't been disappointed yet. That version of you wasn't better. They were just earlier. And the version of you today isn't worse. You're just further along a path that required you to armor up in order to keep walking. Growth is rarely gentle. Nobody becomes deeper, wiser, or more resilient by staying comfortable. You don't develop thick skin from kindness alone. You develop it from friction, from pressure. Every person you've ever admired for their calm, unshakable presence, they didn't get that from an easy life. They got it from surviving a hard one, and refusing to let it destroy them completely. So if you're feeling like a stranger in your own skin, try something. Instead of asking, "Why don't I feel like myself anymore?" ask, "What did I go through that made me need to become this person?" That question changes everything. It turns self-pity into self-respect. It turns confusion into clarity. You changed because life demanded it of you. And instead of shattering completely, you adapted. That is not weakness. That is one of the most human things a person can do. And here's the hope I want to leave you with. Just because you're not the same, doesn't mean you're finished changing. The guarded version of you isn't your final form, any more than the naive version was. You are allowed to keep evolving. You are allowed to soften again, slowly, safely, on your own timeline. You are allowed to let new people in, a little at a time. You are allowed to dream again, even if the dreams look different now, quieter, wiser, but still yours. The old you isn't gone forever. They're just waiting for you to build a life safe enough to let them breathe again. I know this video touched something real in you. Maybe you came here just looking for something to watch, and instead you found something that put words to a feeling you've been carrying alone for a long time. That's not a coincidence. That's you, recognizing yourself in this story, maybe for the first time in a while. So before you go, I want to ask you something. Not for the algorithm, not for the numbers. What changed you? What moment, what person, what season of your life turned you into who you are today? Write it in the comments. Sometimes, saying it out loud, even in a comment box, is the first step to making peace with it. If this video meant something to you, if even one sentence made you feel a little less alone, hit subscribe. Not because I need the number, but because there are people out there right now feeling exactly what you felt watching this, scrolling in silence, wondering if anyone else understands. Your subscribe helps this video reach them too. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are not less than who you used to be. You are a survivor wearing a new face. And one day, when it's safe again, that old spark is going to find its way back to you. Until then, keep going. You're doing better than you think. I'll see you in the next one.